The George and Gloria dynamic did so much with so little. This video is just going to be talking about the George and Gloria relationship and how, with only someone actually did the calculations that they only had 15 episodes. Like, there was only 15 episodes where they were both in it, like, together. Which is fucking wild to me. Because they were introduced in January. And, like, holy shit. Because they've developed such a... It's the one thing that I'll always respect with actors, is you're supposed to act like you've always known this person. And obviously, sometimes you meet them for the first time. Like, that shit defeats me. Like, I can speak with one of my mates, like, who I've known for years, like, I've not stopped talking to him. But, like, you know, just I'll meet a new person, suddenly have to have this... Obviously, the dialogue's written for him, of course. But fucking... You have to act like you fucking knew them the whole time. And there was so much, like, history implied with George and Gloria, which did a really good job of actually, like, you know, they did love each other. It was a really important, like, I feel like George's life without Gloria would have been so much fucking different. Of course it would have. And that was getting over the, like, and that was with a lot of the hump of George realizing, like, oh, you know, fucking, I could have had a different life, but I didn't, so it's time to appreciate what I did have, and what I did have was a mum who loved me. Like, it was always they set it up in such a way. We had Eddie, who obviously was the aggressor and the piece of shit and the fucking racist dad of George, you know, like fucking... They managed to go from, obviously, him confronting his dad's racist beliefs and what he did and going through that to kind of how that's, like, shaped him as a man and who he is, and then slowly, like, you saw Gloria, as she was always kind of seemed to be this really lovely older woman, and you're like, oh, she's great, you know. God, Piggy would say, I want to give her a hug. And then, you know, it turns out she's not all innocent, and she's not all fucking, you know, she wasn't always doing what was best for George. I don't know. What do you think, mate? What do you think about the George and Gloria?
They did so much. Just to piggyback off you, they did so much in so little time. Again, like you said, or the Redditor said. Excuse me. So like, they're pretty good. Like it does feel like George. If we're breaking the fourth wall, it does feel like Colin Salmon grew up around whoever plays Gloria. Yeah. Like it generally does feel like they've been son and mother for like 50 years. I want to say it does generally feel like that. Whereas if I went
some shit in story, and he was taken to the bed when he was like 7 or 8.
Because if I had to do it, and if I had to be George Jr., like, I know it wouldn't be George Jr., but if I had to be George Jr., I'd be like, oh, hello, George, how are you? Like, I wouldn't hack it. I wouldn't be fucking, oh, I'm shit. But I
there's a reason why we talk about actors and don't actually act ourselves.
Yeah. We're like all we are basically the equivalent of people who watch sports and go, I could fucking take on Conor McGregor. I could fucking take him. You get bodied in 2 minutes, lad. I could fucking take him. And then he gets bodied in 2 minutes. Like, we are essentially that. Jesus, this actor is so shit.
I mean, I describe ourselves as pundits, really. You know, we're the people, like, telling you all the storylines ahead of the game and, like, you know, analyzing, like, oh, what's going to happen? Why is this going to happen? Why? Because we watch it. We fucking study it, you know, like, but, you know.
But yeah, I loved the dynamic. It felt like a real mother and son. It's like a mother I never had. Well, I do have now, but still. It's just, it's a great dynamic. I love Eddie the racist and the little gnome man, his little pal, his little cooperative pal. Is that the word? It's like, I love the whole
they are both
outsider
murderers,
night.
By the way.
Yeah. I know. They're both murderers, but again, if I logistically speaking, if I had to send one of them down, I'm obviously going for Eddie. The gnome man, I'll just give him a hug, pat him on the head, and send him off back to the left-hand shop. But yeah, I love the outsiders of the Knight family. Basically, I know they're the originals, but I love the outsiders of them. Loved Eddie. Loved Eddie where he's not like, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist, but there's something wrong with your daughter's hair. But I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Let me clarify that. I'm not racist. I'm a black son. I love that. I love Gloria being like, yeah, I did help in the murder, kind of, but I didn't also. I loved that whole dynamic. I love the ending, of course, where Gloria and George are like, Georgie, and I'm your boy, fuck your dad, man. Fuck your dad. And I'm just eating ice cream, just like, oh, just fucking, like I'm a Taylor Swift fan listening to like one of their albums. But I love that. I know I've said it multiple times, but I do love the dynamic. Generally, it was one of my favorites on the show. I know I probably didn't give it enough credit when I was doing the podcast, but it's generally it got so over with me. I was invested even in times when I wasn't really like looking forward to an episode, and then I see fucking Eddie Knight's like fucking grin looking at me. I'm like, it's gonna be a banger. And then it's like, oh, Eddie, why? You could be such an evil man. You could be a Brexit geezer, but no, you have to be racist. How could you?
But
you
But yeah, let's read what they said. It's absolutely mad that within only 15 episodes, they managed to create such an authentic and complex relationship between George and Gloria. Her death had no right being moving or meaningful at all. She's barely featured, yet it captured a ton of emotion, and it's as though she's been here for a long time. Though this story or the weight of George's past have managed to be portrayed on screen, even though we saw nothing of it. Reminds me a lot of the Martin Kemp and Sheila Hancock's brilliant dynamic of Steve Owen facing up to his mum. Barbara, like Gloria, Barbara's only a few handful of episodes, but is incredibly impactful. Yeah, that scene was very strange, like fucking... Those scenes were fucking weird, because there was like some implied like incest stuff in there. Obviously they didn't go for it, but like one of the last things that Steve Owen's like mum did is she gave him like a proper kiss on the lips, and it's like, what the fuck's happening here? Fuck it, it's a weird ass dynamic, but I mean, even I fucking know of it, and like, you know, I don't go that hard in like watching all EastEnders stuff, so it's clearly impactful and clearly meant something to the character. Really shows what decade-long performance, Eddie included, could do with only a few episodes and lines between them. They have to draw out such reality from such a small number of interactions. Yeah, I think obviously that's the one thing that I'm glad that with this video obviously we'll be able to kind of remind people of. Like, holy shit, guys, it was only 15 episodes. It was only 15. What the fuck? Mate, fucking Bernie has like fucking 100 episodes in a year, and she only does 2 memorable things every fucking 3 years. Like, how the fuck they managed to carve out this really good story arc? It's very impressive.
I know it's us grabbing the cock now of Chris Crenshaw and sucking it like a Slurpee, but it just goes to show Chris Crenshaw is a great writer. I know he's not. I don't know if he's a writer, but he's a great producer.
He's definitely written an episode.
Yeah, but he's a great producer. It just shows that he's putting oomph into the show, and he's not like, well, we've ran out of characters to build.
Well,
so Ben Mitchell, fucking come here, pal.
I think it's also just it's investing in the family drama, because, you know, I think we're far beyond the like criminal era of EastEnders where it's carried by the gangsters and the hard men. We're at the point where it simply doesn't need to be like that anymore, because we have reestablished this family like feeling about it that, you know, the previous eras loved so much. And that's why such, like, no one was excited when the storyline was announced, like, oh, fucking hell, we go, you know. It's just going to be one note, the dad's just going to be a racist, and we're all just going to move on. And then it becomes this really big, interesting fucking conversation. Where it's, oh, shit, all right, fucking fair play. This is actually an important storyline. But once again, nobody really along for the ride. Like, fucking hell, he's just a racist, isn't he? I think in previous eras, it would have just been a one note, like, he is a racist. Why did he kill him? Because he was black, essentially. And that would be done. That would be it. He would get sent away. But they managed to build this really kind of, this identity of George's just being fucking shattered and having to be rebuilt with what he now knows. And I don't know, like I said, I still think this is generally the future of EastEnders, where you need the family drama to carry it, because otherwise you have like the long-term people being like, fucking hell, you know, like, we're just doing all these dumb, like, sensationalized, like, murder storylines. It's not what soaps are about. It's about these fucking quaint stories about, like, family and who you are and identity. And like I said, it's I don't think anybody, I don't know, like, it's just, they made it such a dynamic story, I think. And that's just to be admired completely. But I'll continue in a second.
Yeah, it's just, oh, go ahead.
It says, absolutely agree. I was full on bawling as much as Gloria as for George. She did wrong, but she was also essentially trapped with Eddie. Wasn't so easy for one to just leave arseholes like him back then. Even now it's hard. She genuinely loved George, that was clear. Yes, she was misguided and selfish, but then you get the impression that she did the best she could. It really did feel like she was a long-standing character, and that we'd been watching this way for longer than a few months and a handful of episodes. I'm glad that George got closure and Gloria got forgiveness and a peaceful death. Such a beautifully done scene. The acting and writing in this whole story has been wonderful. No people are moaning about the 6 when the story doesn't go the way they think it should, but EastEnders has done some really good writing at the minute. Whoever's been doing the George storyline needs some awards, and so do Colin and Elizabeth, and Christopher Fairbank has smashed it as well. Yeah, no, I 100% believe, agree with all that stuff, for sure. It's why I do love soap, though, because you can get the kind of perfect death in a way. Because, you know, as much as I didn't vibe with Lola's as much emotionally, because it was a bit more, it was much more realistic. And obviously I've never gone through it, so I don't really know how it is. But, like, point being, you know, she got the forgiveness that she's wanted for George. They were close again. It's where she wanted the dynamic to be. And then by bringing in the tape, allowing George to fully accept both her as his, like, adoptive mum and his actual mum, like, with the tape singing, like, they all made peace with it, essentially. And it was just, you know, it was tragic in the way that it happened so fast, and, you know, it's going to be tragic in how it plays out afterwards. But she still kind of got the perfect ending as a whole, and that's just, like I said, it's the key thing about soaps, where, look, life's shit sometimes. Alright, nothing can prepare you for death, really. And you never really get a choice. It's when you die. But it was very nice that, you know, you do get the somewhat perfect exit, is my roundabout point of saying this. Someone chimed in saying, you know, Lola's cancer and the passing was the most realistic and written portrayals of cancer that they've seen in a long time. That also very true. I think it's also because it focused on so many other elements of it. Like, you know, I can have some gripes by saying, like, oh, you know, Jay and Lola weren't soulmates or whatever, you know. I can have those gripes, but I can't disregard how well it was written, or I can't disregard, like, how accurate the portrayal would have been. And yeah, man, it's fucking, I don't know, it's just, you can tell it's in a good place, because even these, like, B stories, these C stories are kind of elevated to be a lot higher. And whereas in other times, in other periods of EastEnders history, you would generally get, like, okay, What are the main storylines? Grow Atkins. Oh, fucking hell. Haley Slater. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking, Ben Mitchell's back. Oh, and he's a criminal now. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, Whitney still fucking, you're happy now? Stab. Oh, fucking guys. Whereas it feels like a lot of the slightly like, a lot of the other cast is being elevated to the level where, in other times, characters just get killed off and have a shit exit. All the characters who have left in the last, maybe not all the characters, but the bulk of the characters who have left in the last year or so, even if their time on the show was garbage, they got a fucking banging exit. Like, I love Mitch. I don't mind Karen as much anymore. But you're telling me they got that fucking sick exit. Like, what did they do to deserve that? Nothing. They did nothing for like fucking 4 years, but they got this beautiful exit which allowed the family to progress off screen. And the elevation of a lot of the slightly lesser characters as such is definitely made for a much more interesting show. Because admittedly right now we do have the dissonance between, yes, the 6 are the main storyline. And that's how it's been set up. And that's perfectly fine and reasonable. Like, there's no issues with me with the 6. I'm perfectly happy with how it's going. And people do complain when we don't get the 6 drama. But I feel like there's still so much other good stuff on the show to be invested in at the same time. Which means that, the second... It was like me watching Coronation Street last year. I was invested in one storyline. And when the one storyline was paused for a bit, I went, fuck this, I've had enough. I feel like there's so much that you can possibly have. So much variety, so much differences that kind of makes for a much more well-rounded show. And it makes for a much more, like, well-rounded viewer. Because, I can fucking have this, I can have that, You're not fucking... Like, fucking... It's just there's so much variety that you're allowed to enjoy everything. You're not just stuffed and you're like, oh, not anymore, fucking hell. So what would you recommend?
Also, side note, if you see me messing with something, I finally built it. I built this little Kinder piano.
Yeah, you spend the last 40 minutes trying to build this thing.
3 videos. It took me 3 videos, but I did it, lads. I'm so proud of myself. I'm a simple man. What are my thoughts on Martin exactly? I was paying attention, but
just a roundabout take on the Gloria and George stuff. Honestly,
I feel like if you want something smooth to go down your system, I feel like this is the way to go. Really, like if you just want to watch the exit, you can. I think that would be fine. I'm not going to go, no, well, actually, you have to watch episode 301 to actually get the pinpoint of when Gloria's mentioned and then skip the 567 when she's first debuted. I'm not going to tell you to do that. I don't care how you watch EastEnders. I don't care if you go backwards or forwards or even fucking slash in the middle. You go from April then to fucking February, then back to March, then back to January. I don't care. But generally, I would recommend this. I would recommend this storyline. It's been one of my favourites, apart from Dean, because I just love Dean. Everyone knows that now. And I just love Gloria and George, and I love, again, fucking Eddie and the little gnome. Like, I loved all of the side characters that were in this buffet, basically.
Yeah.
Because they all played a part. One of my favourite scenes is when it's just, I don't know if it's the gnome guy or it's a different guy, but I fucking love the scene where George was, where the heart of the party is just it's obviously not it's fucking like an old party. And this rock guy just looks over at George and goes, your dad's going to court tomorrow, you want you to defend him. And then George's like, what?
Yeah, it was a cool reveal of the truth.
Yeah, I love it because that would be me in 50 years. That's like, please do not tell the secret. And then I just lean over. You know how watching Walford became successful? Mm-hmm. Because of Ash. Actually, it was ketamine and drugs. And Ash like, yes. It's just
ketamine and drugs. Fucking hell. But yeah, there we are. So Gloria and George's relationship was gold. Something that we both very much agree on. As to pretty much the whole of the EastEnders subreddit, seen a lot of positive stuff said about this, and, you know, credits to the actors, the writers, and the directors for accurately portraying this storyline. In another year, would probably just get 5 minutes and fuck all. But we built into this lovely little story in itself, and I just want to, just appreciate everybody for doing that. But yeah, tell us what you thought in the comment section down below. We've been watching Walford. We have a Discord if you want to join it. Link in the description, as is everything else you want to support the channel. But all in all, thank you for watching again. We appreciate you for being here. Make sure to join us in the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.